What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now, in the last episode we were doing a junkyard tour and there was 11 CB7 Accords there amongst some other unique vehicles. We didn't have time to capture all the content in one episode, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get back to the yard tour. Now this is really a sad sight to see right here. 1999 Toyota 4Runner, green color with some bronze accents. It looks like I have the gold package. It looks like the intake has been removed from the motor. 3400 4-cam 24. Wowzers, this thing has really been stripped out on the inside here. Yeah, someone went to town on the dashboard right here. All the carpet's gone. Back seat bottom's gone. Front seats are gone. And this is most likely a limited right here. And the rear end is relatively still intact. I guess this thing is in here for mechanical failure. Let's check out the driver's side. And the driver's side right here is unwrecked, so I believe this thing is in here for mechanical electrical failure. Unsure if that would be timing chain, timing belt, oil pump. I don't know the bad things about these 4Runners. These are fantastic SUVs. Frame on body, and these things are built solid. 1990 CB7 Coupe in white. Front end has definitely seen better days with this front bumper being ripped off. Engine has been gone through just a little bit. Looks like I had some aftermarket HIDs with the relay box. Now the air intake tube has been disconnected. I guess someone needed a throttle body, so I'll probably go ahead and get this air intake tube since it's now easy picking. Now taking a look at this front bumper, it looks like it's been repainted. It's got a little bit of pearl effect to it. Hard to see on camera. Just minimal damage on the front fender and front door, but no major wreck right there. And looks like I got some aftermarket door visors. Now, I'm not sure what y'all's opinion are on these door visors, but I'm not a big fan of these things. It just, I don't know, in my opinion, it makes it look like you put some draperies or curtains on your car. Unless you smoke or whatever in the rain, I guess that's what they're made for. But I don't know, just not a fan of these decorative things. Just adds more clutter to the exterior of the car, in my opinion. And this is a 5-speed transmission. Let's go ahead and check those miles. 296,000 miles. That's a lot of miles. And no radio, and the dashboard bezel has been ripped in half. Now my friend Matt in Germany is looking for some hardware on these rear windows, so I'm gonna go inside and see if I can undo this fastener right here. And the trunk area is full of miscellaneous parts and debris. And it looks like I got some rusting action right there on the taillight. That's uncommon right there. But however, the rear quarter panel, there's no rust right there. But looking at the gas tank, there's some rust. So bizarre situation with the rust on this car. Well, I take that back. Check this out in the lower quarter. All this rust action. And man, just look at back there. Wow, that's a bad situation right there. Oh, check that out. Someone put some coilers on this thing. It's hard to read. Is that type 1? I'm not sure, but you know, these coilovers may work for some people, so hopefully these things are pulled off by someone who needs them. And same rust situation on the passenger side. Rust right by the taillight. However, in the rear passenger side, we do have some rust repair, it looks like. But however, the passenger side rear quarter is not rusted out like the driver's side. I'll take that back. There's a hole developed right there. This is no good. And I'll look at the coilovers. I mean, just look how low this thing is. This thing must have been slammed to the ground. But look at this. This car was so low, the tire has worn a hole in the inner fender. That's no good. And just look at that hole right there. Man, this thing's been really attacked by rust. And there's your coilovers right there. So now guys, I know you like to slam your cars down the ground, but if your tire is scratching the inside of this fender, I mean, you just don't want holes like that. So just be cautious of how low you go with the car. Okay, so with this car, I'm gonna go ahead and grab this air intake tube. Should be a quick removal. One Phillips head screw right there. All the other connections have been undone for me. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab the rear window hardware on the back side. So let me go ahead and pull that hardware off. 92 CB7, looks to be dark blue color. Engine is gone. Transmission still intact. Wheel is gone. Looks like I got some fender damage, most likely from forklift. And check out these wheels, guys. I think these wheels are really rare, and I think these are a factory option or a dealer option. Even has the markings right there, 5.5 by 15. Honda Motor Company, L side. So look at these turbines right there. This is quite unique from the typical OEM wheels I'm used to seeing. I've never seen these wheels. Wow, check out the tire situation right here. It's like this thing was drugged to the yard. This tire is just totally shredded. But there's that wheel again. You know, Honda Motor Company. Got a little bit of damage right there from being hauled, I guess. But those are some rare wheels. I've never seen those things before. Looks like it got a gray interior, black interior door handle. Seen better days. 231,000 miles. Radio faceplate is gone, but there is a faceplate. Looks like it's a JVC radio. Center cap and some compact discs. Someone has already grabbed the TCU or the ECU down there. Rochelle Scratch Vocoy Solo 2013 bass and drum tracks. Back seat's been pulled up again. Another floor mat there on the bottom. Some miscellaneous debris and parts back here in the trunk. Rear end looks to be unwrecked. Wow, again, check this out, the backside passenger. This tire shredded as well. That's incredible. The same wheel. Obviously, we've got some damage right there on the lip. I don't know if this thing is savable or not. And got a little bit of quarter rot right here starting to happen. Yep, someone's after the TCU, it looks like. ECU is still in place. Compact discs. RHB, My Loves. RH Essentials. Rochelle Harper Rock 2000 to 2013. 15 songs. And here's passenger side front wheel. We got all four in place, but it's going to take some effort to get these things mint. But as I mentioned before, I don't know if there's a demand for these optional wheels. All right, let's go ahead and check out this front bumper condition. It looks to be in pretty good shape right here. And I'm looking, this thing is definitely being repainted. You see that corner right there? Got a little paint action. So more than likely, this is an aftermarket bumper. And got some gouges right there. And again, with the repaint, you see how they masked it off? This is definitely probably aftermarket bumper, so I'm not gonna waste my time pulling this bumper off. I'm looking for a nice OEM bumper because those things are much thicker and they fit better. Well, there's nothing on this cord that I need, but it's nice seeing those optional OEM wheels right there. I've never seen those things before. 1993 Honda Prelude. Looks to be a dark gray color. Front end has already been stripped off. Aftermarket air intake tube. Looks like got some Phoenix Gold fuse block right there for custom stereo. And this looks to be 4-gauge wiring. Aftermarket alarm horn. And it looks like got a custom strut brace right here. I don't know if this is new speed or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and inspect this thing, see if it's new speed. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what brand this thing is, but if this was like a new speed or something, this might be worth some money. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave this thing behind. Now I do need some valve cover caps for my engine, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull these bolts off along with these little washers and the rubber piece below that, because I need that for my H22. Okay, let's take a look at the inside and see what that looks like. Got some damage on the front fender right there. Obviously wheels and tires are gone. Someone painted the front calipers, got some overspray on the rotors. Okay, now check this out. This is definitely custom. Got a custom grill cut into the rear quarter. I've never seen that before. That's pretty crazy detail. And as you can see here, the paint's starting to chip away in the corners, so this thing may not have been attached in the proper manner. And the front seats are gone, door panel is gone, and surprisingly the gauges are still there. These things are usually snatched out. I believe this Prelude just landed in the yard about 2 days ago, just a little FYI. And then according to the pictures, there was seats in here, and I think they were gray and like a silver. So I guess the back seats match. So this may be custom, I don't know. I'm not familiar with these Preludes. So this looks to be custom seats right there. And it looks like got all kinds of switches and lights right there. I mean, this thing was really decked out. Look at that, carbon fiber trim around the shifter. Obviously the radio's gone. Honda optional equipment back there. And I'm not sure what brand speakers those are. It looks like Pioneer, looks like. Oh, look at those pedal covers. Those are quite nasty. And I'm not quite sure what this stuff is. All these wires and whatnot. I guess we can tell you the miles. 194,000 miles. And obviously someone's already grabbed the front seats. I was looking at those on the website thinking if I should grab them or not, but someone's already beat me to the punch. I was 3 days late on this car. And check out the body kit on this back end. That rear bumper is wicked. That's pretty crazy. Let's take a look at that trunk spoiler up there. I'm curious on that. Well, we got the Dynamat in the trunk, so you know there was some banging system back here with some subwoofers. And just look at the side piece for the spoiler, how high this thing sat. Man, this was definitely customized probably in the 90s. And there it is. Look at that whale tail spoiler. That's huge. I bet this thing looked pretty wicked back in the day. Wonder what wheels he had in this thing. And again, there's that side vent right there on the quarter panel. Never seen that detail before. That's a lot of work, by the way. So whoever grabbed those front seats, probably not putting them in a Prelude. They're going in like a Civic or an Accord or whatever, because otherwise they'd have grabbed the coordinating back seats. And there's a closer look at the side body kit. Man, that thing is wicked. Okay, there's not much parts I need off this, except for those bolts on the valve cover. So I'm gonna grab those bolts, the metal washers, and the rubber pieces below it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my 10mm out. All right, let's do a quick little tour of this car. Now, while I posted a story of this Honda Prelude, Robert, one of my Instagram followers, knows this car. So let's go ahead and do a tour of this thing. Looks like this is a Daihatsu hatchback, EFI, electronic fuel injection. Let's go ahead and see what model this is. I'm not sure what this is. Looks like it did have a hood scoop. Daihatsu Charade from 1991. This has 130,000 miles. This car is quite interesting and not very popular because I don't remember these things on the road. Let's go ahead and take a peek inside. Got a locking fuel door, that's pretty cool. And got some seat covers on here. Very basic door panel. Very basic gauge cluster. This car actually has 90,000 miles, so the sticker was wrong. This is a 5-speed transmission. Got some custom pedal covers there. And of course the radio is gone. Quite a basic yet interesting car here. And look at that steering wheel, very simple. And we got the gas tank in the back seat just chilling. It's a very lightweight hood. Now taking a look at the exhaust header that was there, there's 3 ports. So I have reason to believe this is a 3-cylinder engine. Very, very small power plant. And there's the VIN tag, Daihatsu Motor Company, Japan. But here we are, Daihatsu Charade. In case you've never seen one. And check out this 3 Series coupe right here. This looks like to be someone's pride and joy. This thing was well taken care of how that paint shines. I'm not too familiar with BMWs, but I believe that's probably an inline 6. Obviously it's a rear-wheel drive platform. It's pretty clean on the inside. Doesn't smell too bad. Sadly it's an automatic. Someone has already taken the steering wheel and steering column. And I can't tell you how many miles this thing has on it because it's a digital cluster. It looks like a 323 Ci. I don't know if this thing has been debadged because I'm not sure if that engine up there is a 2.3. Let's see what the sticker says over here. Yeah, 6-cylinder 2.5. I guess the engine just looks big for the bay itself. It's a sharp looking BMW coupe. It's just too bad these cars don't last. Either have mechanical or electrical failure. And when they break hard and they'll drain your bank account. Looks like I got a little bit of damage right there on the front fender. I don't know if that's someone trying to pull parts or whatever. Let's see what this note on the windshield says. Runs, rattles, and moves 170,000 miles. Quite interesting. Rest in peace, BMW 3 Series Coupe. You're a fantastic looking car and hopefully you can keep others on the road. 2006 Acura RL, looks to be black color. Heavy front end collision, passenger side. Brake assembly is missing on passenger side. Let's go ahead and check out the front side. Probably know the answer to that caliper. And front caliper is missing on driver's side, to be expected. We'll just continue to look. All right guys, so I got the Acura Legend lower lip and here's a CB7. So I'm gonna do a mock-up, see if this thing will actually fit on the bottom side. So let me go ahead and show you guys what's going on here. So this is pretty hard to do with one hand. I've got this corner mocked up in position and the bolt holes are not lined up, so I don't know how people are making these things work. And on top of that, this little raise right here is not going on the inside of that bumper, just like it is on the Acura Legend. And see the slots right here where my finger's at, they're supposed to go in the slots, that lower grille. Obviously they're not lining up. So I'm not sure how people are making these Acura Legend lips work. Maybe it's the Legend coupes. Maybe that front bumper is different from the sedan. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave this Acura Legend lower lip behind because I don't think this is gonna work on the lower side of the bumper on Project CB9. So hopefully someone else will have a good use for this. Okay, so I went back to this Burgundy LX. Now this is a 5-speed transmission and someone's requested they need the rear Tbrack on the engine from an LX or DX. And sure enough, this is a 5-speed transmission. So I don't know if you can see down there, I need to undo the rear engine bolt and to get that T-bracket off the transmission. So I'm gonna be working on the underside of the car. I need to go ahead and find a floor mat or something in order to make this thing more comfortable, but I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling parts here. Okay, so I'm underneath this 5-speed LX, and this rear T-bracket is fighting me right here. I got all the other bolts on the bottom undone, but there's one bolt up there. I keep turning and turning and turning to 17mm, and I believe it's just stripped out. So just wasted about 20 minutes of my time. I mean, it sucks, it is what it is, but this is what you have to face with some of these junkyard cars. Whatever the mechanic that was in there before, if they strip something out or they damage something, I mean, this is what you're fighting with. I think there's one other LX in the yard that's 5-speed, so cross your fingers and let's go check that one out. Okay, round 2 with this Arcadia green CB7 sedan. I know this is an LX because we have EX wheels and no sunroof up on the roof. And this is a 5-speed, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab that rear T-bracket. Hopefully this thing doesn't have any strip bolts like the other one did, which was a waste of my 20 minutes, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead, remove this air intake tube, get access to the rear mount right there, and then we'll go ahead, find a trunk mat somewhere on one of these cars and put underneath so we have a clean working space. So let me go ahead and get started. Okay, so this is what I'm dealing with, removing that rear T-bracket. I got my 1/2-inch ratchet. This is a 24-inch extension. I have an adapter for a 3/8 and I have a swivel down there because I need to make some flex on that last point of the motor mount on the back side. So I went under the car. This was a pain in the butt also. As you can see, there's a puddle of water. I tried to do as best I could and make some cushioning so my head wouldn't get wet, but my shirt's soaking wet, back of my head's wet, but it sucks. It is what it is. I'll take a shower when I get home. And I'll show you the bolts I had to do on the underside. So these are all 17mm bolts, by the way. So you got one here, one right there, and one right there, and you got another one up there. So essentially 4 17mm bolts holding this bracket onto the transmission. So now that I got the motor mount loose, this T-bracket should come out because you have to loosen that motor mount in order for this T-bracket to come out. Because essentially this T-bracket is in a slot and there's not much play once that motor mount's tightened up. Things fit tight with these Hondas, but it is what it is, so hopefully this thing comes out now. And I spent about 30 minutes removing this rear T-bracket. And finally, got the rear T-bracket from an LX DX Accord. What a pain in the butt this thing was. First one wouldn't come out because the thing was stripped, and I believe it was this right here that was stripped, this welded in bolt. So that's why I couldn't get the other one out. This one looks like it's in great shape, so guy who wants this thing is doing a manual transmission conversion. So FYI, if you're doing a manual transmission conversion, you want an LX or DX rear T-bracket because the EX is a lot taller. Okay, let's see if I got time to do pedals. Someone else is waiting for some pedals on their 5-speed conversion. Okay, about an hour later, went back to this 91 coupe. Want to get the pedal assembly out, and the only thing you need for a manual transmission is basically your brake pedal. But you have to remove the brake and gas pedal assembly. Now, what they did on 9091, the steering column underneath the dashboard, 92, 93 actually has a slot right here. I'm not able to fully drop the steering column down, so that's one design flaw. So that's one thing I noticed when working on these cars. But 92, 93, it's a lot easier to drop down the steering column. I mean, I had to fight with this thing because the steering column is away, rotating this pedal assembly backwards, and then there's brackets holding it in place, upwards, 12mm bolts. But you know, I got it out. It was quite a process. Like I said, I spent about 45 minutes to an hour just pulling this thing out, and I was determined to get that manual brake pedal out because I got a local guy that wants to do a manual conversion on his SE. So I believe I've got all the parts from this coupe. So let's go ahead, pack up the tools, and head back to the cashier. Alrighty guys, remember that red Jaguar XJ from a few weeks back? Well, it's still in the yard, and look what happened. Someone has grabbed the engine out of this car. So hopefully they can revive their Jaguar XJ because these are some complex machines. Good for them, and these engines, I don't know, I think they're about 300, maybe 400 bucks at this yard, so pretty much a bargain. And right before I hit the exit, this is the vehicle processing. As you can see, all these cars are stacked up. So all the parts have been pulled in the past 6 weeks or whatever, and they're just stacked up, and sadly, they're getting ready to be crushed. So I've got conflicting feelings coming to the junkyard. I know all these cars have had stories, and the owner were proud to bring that thing home and take them to places from point A to point B, and they had a smile on their face. So sometimes it just breaks my heart seeing these cars getting ready to be crushed, but it's the nature of the beast to get recycled, and you know, it is what it is. You can't save all the cars. I know some of these cars might be problematic, but you know, other times owners just give up on them because it needs a clutch disc and whatever simple repair it may be. So rest in peace, cars. You guys are going to car and truck heaven, sadly. Alrighty guys, check out the sweet red Del Sol that just pulled up at the yard. Owner tells me he's got some stuff up the sleeve here. Let's see what we got under the hood. This thing is really clean, nice paint job, nice wheels. Oh wow, look at that. Incredible. You want to tell us a little bit about this thing?
GSR head, V20 block, LSD, GSR transmission, Garrett turbo, and that's pretty much it.
Oh wow, this is yeah, some impressive work, and you even got the engine bay painted as well.
That was done last month.
Yeah, this is very impressive, and you know, I can respect this kind of work, and man, you even got the Hasport mounts. That's the good ones right there. All right, so what's your future plans for this thing?
Maybe K-Series turbo.
K-Series turbo, yeah, you can't go wrong with K-Series.
Switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy with the B-Series.
Yeah, the B-Series, you can't go wrong. These things are bulletproof almost.
Oh yeah.
Wow, this is very impressive. Well, what was your name?
Diego.
Diego. I'm Kevin. I do random rebuilds, so if you want to check out my channel, you're more than welcome to. All right, it's a nice looking Del Sol, and yeah, I wish you luck with this thing. All right, I'll let you get back to the yard. Have a good one. Alrighty guys, productive day at the yard. Let me show you what we got. We got 2 cruise control cables from Matt in Germany doing cruise control conversions. We got 4 hubcaps from Matthew up in Michigan. And I can't remember the individual's name, but I got him the clutch reservoir, the clutch boot retainer, and also the T-bracket from an LX and DX. And I got myself an air intake tube since mine's got some cracks on it. And I also found a fog light switch, which was not pictured. But overall, productive day at the yard. And another cool tidbit about today's visit is I ran into one of the guys that watches my YouTube videos. Gave me a compliment on the videos, so thank you again. I can't remember your name, but it was nice meeting you. So let's go ahead, pack up these parts in the car, and go get some lunch. Alrighty guys, that wraps up the Junkyard tour with numerous Accord CB7s and that very unique 4th gen Honda Prelude. We got some parts for some friends, including the hubcaps for Matthew up in Michigan, and also the rear T-bracket for a manual transmission conversion. Now, if you guys like these types of Junkyard tour videos, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic day.